Hi, I'm Liz Stincelli, and I'm here today with Beth Strathman. She is a leadership and team coach. And today we want to talk about, are we a team? And we have teams that often are ineffective. And what are some of the signs, first of all, of an ineffective team? And then, let's discuss some of the solutions to that.
Sounds good. Yeah, so one of the signs that comes to mind for me first is that obviously their performance is not what is expected or needed by the organization. So you're going to probably have some um, metrics that aren't what they need to be for that particular team. Another sign, I think, is that you're going to hear from the team stakeholders that they're not getting what they need from the team. And when I say stakeholders, I'm talking about individuals or groups, either inside the organization or outside the organization, who either they benefit from the work of the team, right? They get something from that. The team does work that impacts them, and or they influence the team's work, or both. They both benefit and influence the team's work. So those are the first two things that come to my mind, Liz, about signs that our team is not being very effective.
Um, Also, I've noticed teams that are ineffective, there's a lot of infighting in that team. We get a lot of people competing against each other in that team instead of working together. They're kind of trying to one up each other. You know, there's a lack of trust. It's like each man for himself, and so it's an uncomfortable team to work on because you don't feel like you can really trust your team members, and there's not that trust, there's not that respect, and it kind of breaks the whole point of the team down.
Right. And as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, how would we even know that this group of individuals should be a team? And I think you should be a team if your work together has a common purpose, a shared purpose, that you must come together in order to achieve that goal or to realize that particular purpose. So when you're not effective, you're not seeing people have that common purpose. You're not seeing people have good relationships inside the team. Usually that can affect your effectiveness, and your stakeholders are complaining about you. Another thing I would add to the signs is that the team doesn't adapt very well to changing conditions. So they're not being effective. They should be able to serve those stakeholders to meet their common purpose, but for some reason, learning inside the team is not happening, and they just keep doing the same old thing, that they've always done, and then they're not really meeting the needs of those stakeholders. Thus, you get those stakeholder complaints.
So, Beth, what can we do about it if we are working on that type of team, or we're leading that type of a team?
Well, for a lot of things in leadership, and this is the same thing for teams, in my view, I think the first thing to do is check on your common purpose. Does each member of the team understand what the point of the team is? Why does that team exist? Right? Why are we all coming together, working together in order to do something? And then what is that thing under that common purpose? What's our goal then under this common purpose that we're coming to achieve?
That's very important. And then each team member, I think, they need to understand the value that they bring. So it's kind of like a reassurance in some ways, but each of you are on this team because you bring something of value. We don't need to compete. We don't need to, because we all have something to contribute.
Yeah, and that goes back to your earlier comment on the relationships, because a lot of times people don't see each other's value on the team, and or You have members on the team that you got to question yourself, are they the right person for this team, right? So you want the diversity of thought, you want the diversity of background, you want the diversity of experience, you want the value, you know, you want competence for each person who's on your team, and you want everyone to appreciate, as you're highlighting, everyone's value and what they bring to the team. And sometimes we have people on the team who they're not adding value, you know, and maybe sometimes it's time for the team leader to have a good think about, is this, do I have the right people on the bus, you know, going back to the book Good to Great, you know, kind of a thing.
Absolutely. And then one last thing, communicate. When we are not communicating with our team and our team members are not communicating well with each other, we have breakdowns. And so it's a skill that, you know, we hear over and over again, and people are like, yeah. But I mean, you, it's harder than it sounds, and you've got to get people to do it.
Right, and we're not taught to do good communication throughout our lives, really. So that's not just within the team, communicating and having dialogues with your stakeholders too. As I mentioned, stakeholders are important. If they're complaining that you're not meeting their needs, then you've got to have that external communication outside your team with a stakeholder to find out what it is they need. If you guys understand each other and what you both value, the team and the stakeholder, and then understand how to meet the needs of those stakeholders. So communication, huge, both inside and outside the team. So those are some things we've thought about are we a team? Well, maybe not if you're not, I mean, you are a team, but if you're not being effective, these are the things we've thought about that you might want to look at. So let us know, what other things have we not talked about in this video that are critical to helping a team that isn't performing up to the expectations. Let us know, leave us a comment, and we thank you for watching.